Now, I haven't looked deep into I haven't looked at all into the backlash of this show on the internet, but if I had a theory of what it is, I would say it's because, once again, Hollywood is cashing in on Black trauma. Hello beautiful people, welcome back. In today's video I wanted to chat with you guys about this new Amazon original show called Them. Now, I did not plan to make this video to review the series at all, but I just finished watching it and my jaw was like, and I was like, what in the world did I just watch? So I needed someone to talk to about this. However, the only person I know watching this show is my mom, and she's not done yet, so I can't chat with her, and I don't know anyone else who has watched this. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna talk to y'all about it because why not? So let me start off by saying I did not know anything about this show. Apparently it's gotten some backlash, apparently on the internet, but I knew nothing about the show. Yesterday is when I started watching this, and I only knew about it because I overheard my mom talking on the phone to someone about it, and I was like, oh, this sounds interesting, and the only line I heard was it's about a black family that moves into a white neighborhood. That's all I knew. I didn't know what time period it was taking place in. I didn't know what part of the country it was taking place in. That's all I knew. I didn't even know if it took place in America or not. Honestly, that's all I knew. Black family moves into a white neighborhood. But knowing what I know about how this world works, I knew there was no way this was gonna be one of those happy-go-lucky movies, or excuse me, TV shows, you know, where things are all peachy keen and things are good, because so here's some backstory to it. There's this family from North Carolina, I believe, this African-American family from North Carolina. They decide to move up to California for new beginnings, for a new start. The husband has a new job, and there was like some past trauma that happened in the family, so it was just gonna be good to move away and start over. That's the whole background behind it. I don't want to spoil anything in case you haven't seen it. And in this review, I'm not going, sorry, I was like scratching my back. My tag is like itching me a bit. But anyways, this review isn't me going in depth for like each episode and each like big event that happens. I'm kind of just giving an overall consensus of my thoughts on the show. So let's just dive right into it, I guess. I'm gonna say overall, it's not a bad show. It's not. It's very interesting. And here's why. Because there's so much going on, you can get kind of confused for a bit. There was a moment where I stopped looking at the TV screen for like, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes. And then I looked back up and I was so confused. I was like, what is going on? Like, what are they talking about? So it's one of those shows you actually really have to pay attention to every minute. And if you need a break, just hit pause. Don't try to multitask because you are just gonna get so lost. So I tend to not really like when shows do that because I'm the type of person that's like, I need to know what's going on. Like, I don't need any confusion. I need to know now as I watch. I don't want to have to wait to the end to like figure things out. But you know what? I was intrigued, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep watching it and let's see if at the end everything gets pieced together. Well, let me just say at the end, I would say some things get pieced together, but I still have a big question mark, like a big question mark. I don't know if they're gonna make a season. No, actually no. There's no way they're making a season 2 in regards to that family. There's no way. Although that ending was like, that was the ending. Like I was like, so I was a little disappointed at the fact that I was still left with this big question mark, and I was just still so like, what? Like, huh? But I will say, so I can kind of put things into perspective for those of you who have not watched it or don't even think you're gonna watch it. But basically, I told you guys the family has past trauma and all that. So it kind of, the mother especially is still haunted by that past trauma. But the whole family is haunted by something. Okay, and this is where things get a little demonic, because I was like, wait, what? Like, it seems like they are getting possessed, and like, it's a lot, you guys. And at first I thought it was only the mom that this was happening to, and I realized it's happening to the daughters, the father, and the moment you realize it's happening, especially to the older daughter, you're like, wait, what? Because, you know, watching it, you're thinking something is so real and whatever, and then the way they edited it, you're just like, wait, what? Like, that's genius. The editing was great, and the way they revealed stuff. But yeah, so they're dealing with a lot of like demonic stuff, getting possessed, spirits, things that aren't really there. A lot of that is going on. And then also, let's go back to the fact that I said they're a black family moving into a white neighborhood. So we already know what comes with that, which is the white people do not want them there. They're like, I don't know if I said this before, but it is based in the 1950s. So this is the 1950s era. And this is when a lot of people during this time, a lot of African American families were moving from the South, because they did not like want to deal with Jim Crow laws. Like, they were over it. Like, no, let's go elsewhere. New beginnings, new starts. So that's how that works. So this family, right? They moved to California. They moved to Compton. I think it's East Compton. I don't really know that much with history. I don't know if it was in the 1950s predominantly white neighborhood, but let's say it is. It probably was. But so a black family moves there. Now, they don't want them there, right? So they're gonna do whatever they feel is necessary to be done so that these people get out of their area, of their neighborhood. So they, I don't want to ruin it, but you guys, like, it's triggering. Okay, it is very, very triggering. I almost stopped watching when I got to the second episode. I think it was the second episode. It was either second or third, because I was like, wow, this might be a little too much for me. I think especially with everything that has gone on and over the past year and stuff. So, and y'all know what I'm talking about, racial injustice. But so it was like a lot on me. I had to take a break for a bit from it and like really think, like, should I continue watching this? Should I not? But at that point I was already, like I said, pretty invested, because there were things happening that I was questioning, and I was like, wait, what? And I wanted to see if things would start making sense at the end and start, like, you know, fitting in the puzzle pieces. I was like, okay, I can kind of like see where everything's going now. That was why I kept watching it. So it's a heavy load. It's definitely a heavy load, dealing with that, and then also a heavy load with dealing with the whole demonic aspects of it. I'm just going to categorize that other area as demonic aspects. There was, towards the ending of the season, there is an episode that kind of takes you way back in time, and while I was watching it, I was kind of confused, but it has to do with why the demonic stuff was happening. So I was like, wait, huh? Like, I didn't really get it. And then it wasn't until I got to the next episode where I started thinking more about the previous episode. Then I was like, okay, it's starting to make a little more sense, and I kind of could see. And I think what it was in that episode from a while back where they were trying to show the start of things, it was it was like East Compton before it was known as East Compton, and what happened in that area and why they started being the way they started being towards the black people. I think that was the whole picture of why that episode, or like the significance of that episode, if I'm correct. And if I'm not correct and you've watched this, please correct me, because I'm still trying to piece things together. So it was just a lot on both ends. Definitely keeps your brain and your mind thinking constantly in each episode. And there were some episodes I was like, oh my god, like, my heart. Not like, and not in a good way, just like wow, 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 wow. Shock value at an all-time high. Like, I was expecting some things, but like, wow. Now, I haven't looked deep into I haven't looked at all into the backlash of this show on the internet. But if I had a theory of what it is, I would say it's because, once again, Hollywood is cashing in on Black trauma. I mean, it makes sense. The thing is, and when I say Hollywood, I'm talking about the industry as a whole. I'm not talking about like specific people, but obviously, you know, writers are creating this because people oddly like watching this. You know, producers are producing it because they know they're gonna have an audience for it. They know they're gonna make money off of it. I would say, me personally, as an actor, I do not think I would ever be able to play a slave role, or a role where I was either a role where I would play a slave, or something in that era where it's just like, yeah, y'all know where I'm going. I can't even say the words, but y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't think I can do that because it's too traumatic for me. I don't think I would want to tap into that. No, thank you. No, thank you. But what was I saying? Oh, they're cashing in on Black trauma. I mean, we see it time and time again. Movies that are being created. There's so many slave movies now, like so many slave movies, and it's just like, ugh. And if it's not a slave movie, it's a movie like the show that. It's about racial injustice where, you know, Black people are looked down upon, and Black people have to struggle. And, you know, there's just so much out there like this. So this is just another one of those things. And I think that's where the backlash is probably coming from. And it's, there's one scene that like really broke my heart, and it's where the older daughter was basically saying she wants to be beautiful. She doesn't want to be like them anymore. And she sees a can of white paint, dips her hand in the can of white paint. And then she's in high school, by the way, so there was a pep rally that night. The camera, they edited it so that the camera is basically her moving, but you don't see her, you just see her, like, the camera's moving as though it is hers, as though it's through her eyes, basically. And she's walking through the crowd of her fellow student body. And they're all looking at her, and the cheerleaders are there, and the jocks, and just like everyone from the school. And they're just looking at her weirdly. And I was like, in my head, I was like, please don't tell me that girl. No, I was like, please don't tell me she's there with like paint on her hands, like, right? Then the camera turns, and you see her, and she's covered in white paint. And that scene right there was like heart-wrenching, because you can only take so much, like relating this to real life, because there are a lot of young African American girls or young girls of color who go through this, and there's just so much you can take before you eventually are just like, I don't love myself. I don't like myself. I don't like what I see in the mirror anymore. I want to be like them because they're beautiful. Me, they don't like me. You see what they call me? You see the names? They call me the N-word, monkey, this, that. And although in these times, you know, they're probably not getting called monkey or the N-word. I mean, they probably are. Some, unfortunately, probably still are getting called the N-word. But I just mean it's probably not as intense as it was back then. And the words and phrases are probably different now to bully someone of color. But there's only so much you can take of that before you start to believe it to be true. And then you start to just not love yourself. You start to hate yourself. And you're like, I want to change. I want to be accepted. And so that's what this girl did. I think her name is Ruby in the show. And she was like, basically, will you accept me now? Like, she would love to be on the cheerleading team, but she knows she didn't have a chance. But she pours paint all over herself. And he's kind of just standing there like, would you accept me now? Like, now we're the same. Like, you know, you can't see that I'm black anymore. Like, it's so triggering, and it's, oh my gosh, it's so sad. So sad. And the whole show is like that. What the father / husband does, has to go through at his workplace. There was a whole other scene about when they first moved in, and all of the ladies of the area decided to like take folding chairs, I kid you not, and put it like right in front of their house, a few feet away, not like exactly at their front door, but a few feet away. And they sat there and they all brought their radios, their portable radios, and turned the music up all the way up to kind of bug them in the house and annoy them. What else did they do? They hung black dolls like with the noose, and like left it, like, it was crazy, you guys, crazy. And although this is fictional, I do not doubt that things like this happened. I'm not talking more so the demonic aspect, but as far as the racial inequality and what was going on there, and as far as the white people trying to get the black family out, I don't doubt that things like that happened. Okay, like, we've seen video clips. We know how things were in the past. I would not be shocked to find out that at least 3 of the events that happened in that TV show actually took place in real life years ago. So, wow, it's just a lot. That show just comes with a lot. I think if I were to rate this show out of 10, I would give it 6.5, 7, maybe a 7. Because like I said, it's not a bad show. It's just a lot got me questioning, like a lot left me with questions and confusion. One other point I want to make that goes back to Hollywood cashing in on black trauma. Like I said before, they know that people like tragedy, they like drama, like people love a struggle story, basically. As sad as it is, that's what we are drawn to. And that doesn't mean the struggle story of a black family. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying in general, you love a struggle story, excuse me. My personal favorite genre is thriller / horror. It's something about it that's like, I'm drawn to it. I love it. You know what I mean? But out of all my favorite movies, there's not one that has to do with racial injustice, or like something to this magnitude, like, because I'm not personally the biggest fan of stuff like that. That doesn't mean the story isn't good. Like, a movie like The Great Debaters just popped in my head. If you don't know The Great Debaters, it's with Denzel Washington, and he takes a group of students that are on the debate team, and you see a lot of racial injustice that happens there. And it's a great movie. Great actors are in it. The story comes across really well, but it's definitely, I couldn't put it as one of my favorite movies ever, just because of what it's based on. So that was my 2 cents about the show Them. I would love to know your thoughts on it. If you've watched the show, tell me what you think. Let me know. Rate it out of 10. And if there's anything I said that needs clarification, or that I got wrong, that was a bit confusing, and you can like clarify it for me, please also comment down below. Let me know, because I would just love to know, so that I'm not confused anymore, so that things make sense, so that the puzzle pieces are fitting. Thank you guys for watching. Really do appreciate it. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and stay tuned for my next video.